It was as at the end of the financial year 23-24, and we had not received next checker.
So you're saying you've not been paying your statutory deductions from the beginning of the financial year until June?
No, we have been paying.
So what is this 500 million statutory deductions? It's for which months?
It is cumulative.
It's a historical figure.
It's cumulative.
Okay.
Statutory reductions. But you've just proven to us that the gap was fairly small.
Yes, yes.
In fact, it was 10 million at the end of the year. So now we have 800 million. On some of the, perhaps we didn't look at taxes, but NHIF, NSSF, you have explained very well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it cannot amount to 800 million.
Yes, it's not 800.
So, Chair, out of the 800 million, you said part of it was for salaries for May and June.
Yes.
How much was paid as salaries for May and June? Then we subtract from 800 million. How much did you pay for May and June that particular year?
Our salary normally is around 250,000 a million every month.
So out of the 800 million, we reduce 500 million. And so the staff payables now would read 300 million? Is that what you're saying? And remember, you are answering on behalf of the governor, and the governor is under oath. And you know the consequences of lying under oath.
I would say the staff deduction payable as at end of the year 23-24 was 500 and something there.
Did you make this explanation to the auditor during the time of audit?
Yes, we provided.
Now, you have said up to now, up to March 2025, you have paid verified pending bills of 121,866,420. Is it part of the remaining amount from this 800 million, or this one is part of 1.37 million?
The amount paid, 121, is part of the 1.3 billion.
So you have not paid.
It is part of the verified pending bills.
What about the 800? How much has been paid?
Let me check the figure.
You have two bills, staff payables and payables to contractors.
Yes.
1.3 and 800. So
Yes.
out of the 800, how much has been paid?
Let me check the
Because
current.
the governor has only reported 121. Governor, this information cannot be sitting on somebody's phone. This is institutional information that you should ask for and you should have. Chair, at the personal level, don't you know?
Yes, I understand, Chair, I know. But you see, Chair, when we are employing them, we advertise generally, and we have public service board which conducts these interviews. But I'm wondering what is not happening, Chair.
No, Governor. This is the most basic information that a governor, not the officer, that a governor should have. And that's why I started by asking whether there was that disclosure. That's where the problem started. They didn't disclose in the financial statements.
Your phone.
Is it on your phone, or it is verified and reviewed by the auditor?
It is because it is verified, because 800, 170, 135 was the pending payables as at the year 23-24. We have paid 251, 512, 272, remaining with a balance of 548, 657, 862.
So you have not paid salaries for June 2023, 2024?
No, we paid.
Because you said of the 800, you had 2 months of salaries, which was 250 per month. So for the 2 months, it was 500 million. So if you've only paid 251 million out of the 800 million, it means that your staff have not been paid for the month of June 2024.
No, the remaining 548 caters for the 2 salaries.
What do you mean? You have said you have paid 251 out of 800.
Yes, but this was the statutory, but we had 2 salaries.
My friend, you have told us 800 and 800 million was outstanding staff payables. You have told us it included 2 months of salaries.
Yes.
And we have rounded it off to 500 million.
Yes.
You are telling us to date, out of the 800 million, you have paid 251 million. Is that your statement?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
you have only paid 251 million out of the 800 million. Are we still together? Ideally, for you to have paid the salaries for May and June, at least you should have paid 500 million of the 800 million.
We are not owed May and June salaries for that financial year.
Did you just say that when you close the year with staff payables of 800 million, it included unpaid salaries for 2 months? Didn't you say that?
I said that.
Have the salaries for the 2 months been paid to staff?
Chair, I want to correct. It is a payable salary of June only, and not June and May. Sorry.
Governor, go and put your house in order. Go and put your house in order. Make sure that we are portraying. Your senator here is a very thorough man, a very, very thorough man, and a very able vice chair to this committee, a man we hold in high esteem. The county must also match
Chair,
the impression that the senator provides.
thank you, Chair. Also, Chair, I'm up to the task. You know, when you say about...
No, I don't have a... I started by saying that we have been friends while you are in Parliament, so...
Even now we are friends, Chair. You know, when we talk, that is up to the task, and you know, he wants governorship. So definitely he's going to take it out of me.
Oh, that's why you are agitated.
Yeah.
Chair, protect me from the governor.
Oh, I didn't understand those dynamics. Senator Waruma, should I withdraw my... No, but whether he wants to be a governor or not, it does not take away the fact that he is a man we respect in the Senate. It does not take that away. But what I'm trying to say is
Let
that...
me just ask Chair this question.
Yeah.
That for these pending bills, the executive is supposed to produce or to provide a repayment plan. Now, looking at the management response, they're indicating that the verified pending bills are 1.3 billion, and the county government has submitted a payment plan of pending bills to the control of budget of 209,977,511.76 shillings. I want to note here if this figure is arbitrary or it is derived from a particular point, and why they are not providing a payment plan for the 1.3 billion. Because then you can say in this budget we would pay 200 million, but in the subsequent budget for the 2025-2026 financial year would be able to pay this much. For 2026-2027 financial year would pay this much. Why are they providing only the payment plan for 209 million? Where is this 209 million coming from? Is it arbitrary or it's derived from some mathematics.
Yes, Governor?
Can I ask something?
You may. Huh?
On pending bill.
Yes, please.
Governor, I'm in note 20 of financial statements. In these unionizable employees, does it include limitation of remittance of statutory deductions? Number two, this construction of buildings, is it inclusive of your own residents, including of your deputy? And can you provide us with a schedule that totals to this 1.3 billion, so that, like the way Chair yesterday Samburu gave us a breakdown, although some of the claims were fictitious, the breakdown of the entire total amount. And we get the breakdown so that if it is XYZ company that did ECD, they are being owed maybe 100,000 or 200. Can we get the schedule? Chair, those are my three questions.
Okay. Governor, you may respond first to the question raised by Senator Maruma.
Through Chair, honorable members, including my Senate, it's true, we actually committed to a committee for reviewing pending bills. And this task, I gave it to my executive member for finance, but I'm assuring you, in that construction, governor doesn't have a house or even the deputy governor. It is actually meant for the county government, for the people of Taita Taveta County. So maybe our executive member.
The governor's is official residence is.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like that. Even office itself for
I'm
the
saying
governor.
on governor, just get my question, sorry, Chair, through you. When you say constructions of building that is being owed 357 million, apart from ECD and youth polytechnics, does buildings include county headquarters, deputy governors, residents?
No, we don't. No, it doesn't include.
These buildings.
It doesn't include the governor's office. It doesn't include.
Which buildings are these through the chair?
Let him give you exactly the buildings. Executive member.
That totals to 357. Governor, before you give over, there is a question I had asked. In these 800 million plus, does it include statutory remittances?
Through Chair, honorable member, actually we inherited quite a number of bills. So some of those are also statutory deductions. But at the moment, we've been trying to reduce them according to exactly what my senator has just said. That this time we should.
They are statutory deducted through the chair. How many in these 800 million? Because the governor, I'm asking the question through the chair, is you'll be penalized if you delay in statutory remittance. So how many is being owed to the supposed to be statutory remittances through here?
Maybe the executive member for finance can give us the.
Governor, why did you give us the schedule totaling to 1.3 billion and 800 million? Was that provided to the OAG through the chair? Did you see that amounts to 1.3 billion and 800 million? No, Chair, with this era of ghost workers, we need to be precise.
Chair, the schedule for 1.3 billion was provided during the audit process. That's why we have not questioned about the schedule. The only question that...
No, Auditor.
I thought you were given the schedule by Samburu.
Auditor, you gave us a brief earlier. And remember, I asked for that schedule. And it is not there. We have asked the county to show us where it is. They cannot show us.
Correct.
What we have is a summary.
Correct.
What we have here is a summary, an analysis.
Note number 2.
An analysis of pending accounts payable.
Yes.
Then we also have analysis of pending staff payables, which you yourself, you have queried that it is not broken down to know who the beneficiaries are.
Correct.
And that is what the county is struggling to respond to.
Correct.
So to the question raised by Senator Cherargei, I think it has been asked and there is no answer.
Okay.
And that is what brought us to that conclusion where the governor intervened. Now, Auditor, you must insist on the same standards across all counties. In other counties, that schedule is provided so that it's all broken down. We cannot accept an explanation from an officer looking at his phone telling us that this is who was paid and this is what is, that's not how to run public affairs. So on this issue of pending bills, I think we must ask you to do a more detailed, in-depth analysis in line with the recommendations that we have made. But what we have here is not satisfactory, it is not professional. You cannot, Governor, be referring to the phone for such important things as liabilities that are due to the county. Patrick.
Mr. Chairman, but allow me, Chairman, because we are now talking about statutory deductions, which are now included in the pending bills. There's an issue that we dealt with in paragraph number 4 on NHIF, where there was sort of a dispute whether NHIF contribution by the employee is supposed to be matched with that of the employee. Chairman, we have looked at the law with the legal person, and it's a requirement that the employer does a matching to what the employee has been deducted.
On NHIF?
NHIF, Chairman.
So your observation was valid?
It is valid, Chairman. This is on section 16, which amended section 15 of the NHIF Act, Amendment Act of 2022.
Yeah, so it means that we, no, just a minute. It means that we need to reframe our directives on that.
It's true, Chairman.
But in light of that variance in interpretation of the law, I think let's stick to what we recommended, that you do a deeper analysis, considering that NHIF has been wound down, and report to us on that. So,
Chairman.
So that we don't revisit that conversation.
That's okay, Chairman.
Okay.
Maybe as an exit is then the county should provide with us the schedule as per your direction. Then the AG can verify, because my worry is a number of entities, like for example Samburu yesterday, when the OAG had went through, but when we went and Patrick was here, we noticed anomalies in some of the pending bills. So can we see the schedule? If it is Mwadime being owed 100,000 for doing an ECT, I'm using as an example, then let it, we need to know, so that the county, you know, a small county like Taita, which the senator went on his knees to beg us for 406 million, 4.5, he's being owed 2 billion, more than counties which are like Homa Bay, which are virtually below $1 billion. So, Chair, I think there is something that meets the eye. So we need to look at the schedule. Thank you, Chair.
Senator Morumo.
In fact, Chair, the governor has alluded to some task force report, which he has mentioned. If it is here, you might want to consider getting it for the sake of looking at this query. Because issues of pending bills, we've taken them very seriously. Across all the counties, not only for Taita Taveta. So if you have that task force report, Chair, you may require that it be tabled so that we can see the schedule of pending bills. And if it helps us in giving an aging analysis of the pending bills, the better.
No, Governor.
Chair, I've made some observations.
You have Appendix 6. What is it about? Because my team is asking questions. You have referred to Appendix 6, unless your team is not aware of what is in your annexures. But Senator Gataya, please
Chair,
go on.
I've made some observations, and there is some serious disconnect between the governor and his team, even on very primary issues that are supposed to be addressed even primarily between the OAG and the executive. I think there is a very serious disconnect between the two entities.
Yeah, and that is why audit is, there is the corrective measures, and then there are also the punitive measures that we must put in place. In Appendix 6, I'm seeing very small print, which you're saying is a pending accounts payable prepared in PS, Public Sector Accounting Standard Board requirements. But that ought to have been attached to the financial statements. Now, the way it is presented, we can't make sense out of it until the Auditor General reviews it. So I think, Senator Maruma, if you find this useful, we ask the Auditor General in the in-year audit to do a more thorough analysis, but we must reprimand the county government They show that I've seen where people are referring to important figures of liabilities on phone without providing proper official documentation is not acceptable. It is not acceptable. So we can allow the OAG to deal with this comprehensively.
Yeah, but also disaggregate the account payables so that we get to know what are impressed owed to the employees, what are statutory deductions, and so on. Let them be disaggregated and that aging analysis be given.
Okay, so if we agree on that, I want us to move a bit faster. There are issues of construction of roads, and allow me to just pen them for a while and we go to mining operations. Mining operations.
Thank you, Chair. 3.0, 3.1, unlicensed mining sites. Records maintained indicate that the county had 161 mining sites located in the 4 sub-counties, registered between 1997 and 2020. However, there was no evidence provided to confirm whether mining licenses had been granted to 158 companies as per Section 181 of the Mining Act of 2016, which states that the Cabinet Secretary will not grant a license unless the applicant has submitted site plans, mitigation and rehabilitation or mine closure plans, and that the mining permits issued were renewed as required by Section 142(1) of the Mining Act, number 12 of 2016, which states that the term of the renewal of a mining permit is to be specified in the permit, but not to exceed 5 years or the remaining life of the mine, whichever is the shorter. Further, there was no evidence that the county had complied with Section 102(2) of the Mining Act 2016, which requires submission and approval of an environmental and social impact assessment report, an environmental management plan for the duration of the mining license to the National Environment Management Authority before licensing. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law. Should I continue 3.2, Chair?
Fine, yeah, go to 3.2 so that we deal with the issues.
3.2, and disclosed information on volume and revenue generated from mining. Review of mining records provided shows that that quantities of minerals generated and revenues paid to the government on the mining and mineral-related activities was not disclosed, contrary to Section 119(3) of the Mining Act 2016, which requires regulations made to provide accountable and transparent mechanisms of reporting mining and mineral-related activities, including revenues paid to the government by mineral rights holders and production volumes under each license or permit. Further, the details of community development agreement where the mining operations were being carried out was not provided, contrary to Section 1091 of Mining Act 2016, which requires a mining license holder to sign a community development agreement where mining operations are to be carried out as prescribed by the regulations. Additionally, 29 mining companies in Voi sub-county did not indicate the category of mineral being mined, as is required of Section 79(2) of the Mining Act 2016, which requires keeping of records and details of minerals discovered, results of geochemical or geophysical analysis obtained, financial statements and books of accounts. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law.
Governor, what was your response on these mining operations issues?
The county government does not issue the mining licenses to miners that they have applied to Ministry of Mining to receive their mining licenses. And I can call my officer for mining to expound exactly what happens in mining, Jimmy Mtao.
So you state your name and your responsibility for answered purposes.
Thank you, Chair, and also thank you, Your Excellency, our Governor. Let me start with the first question, which, of course, 3.1, which talks about issues to do with licenses. So truly we have noted the query, and as the Governor said, it is the responsibility of the Cabinet Secretary to issue mining licenses and also what we call mining permits. And actually this has been enshrined under, of course, the Constitution, that is Schedule 4, paragraph 22, which talks about that the mining department has not been devolved as such. And we also have...
Governor, you see, I'm giving you an opportunity to tell the Senate what you would like the Senate to do to help you in this matter. I am very clear in my mind that this query relates to the national government. It is not a county government thing. However, it cannot be proper that people are mining rubies and all sorts of rare minerals in Taita, Taveta, and you are a spectator. And yet, you head a government. So, this is not a query for you to be defensive. It is a query for you to tell the Senate that this is the injustice that has been committed to the counties, particularly Taita, Taveta. The licenses are paid for in Nairobi, nothing comes down. The proceeds from royalties are kept in Nairobi, nothing comes down. Taita Taveta was supposed to have gotten some 55 million in the last schedule of allocation. It disappeared. Kwale was supposed to get 1.2 billion or something. It disappeared. Now, these are the conversations we want to have in the Senate. Those ones of receipts are not very appetizing conversations. This one, tell us as a CEO and as a man who understands what happens in that space, what is it that you think we should do?
Chair, just on the same as you're saying, you know, there are terms which are used also in mining, pegging and mining location. All the counties who have minerals, you ask their community, what is pegging? Even educated one, they don't understand what is the meaning of pegging, which implies the national government has never gone. You know, if you go to areas where, like my honorable senator, tea is and the coffee is, it's really talked about. But on mining, even the community themselves, they always see people coming with the licenses because they talk terms which nobody understands, which implies national government does not even care about the communities who are staying with those men. So to me, according to my recommendation, I feel mining, the better part should be actually devolved, because that's where the activity takes place. Like just recently, our mineral called the savorite, that is the one which actually our community normally assists themselves with, the economic activity. It has already made as a strategic mineral, which implies if you are selling it, you have to come to the national office is when you are selling. So there are many things which went wrong on the side of mining on devolution, because governors, they don't have that much power. Most of the power is with the national government.
Chair, in fact, they have.
Senator Maru?
The county government has, because the environmental impact assessment report must be approved by the county governments. If there are many activities that are taking place in the county, you have enforcement officers who can stop until the licensing is done. There's so much that the county can do. Unless you want us to assist you in any other way, but the county has a lot to do. If there's any license that has been given without a NEMA report signed by the county government, then that is an infraction of the law.
But Senator, maybe also to help us understand, if the county signs an environmental report, is it just signing or there's a revenue element to it?
There's a revenue.
I've been insisting
Is
of
there,
mining.
is there a revenue to it?
But NEMA is the one which actually takes the money. NEMA. I'm agreeable to my senator that there's some areas. But you see, right now what is happening, all the licenses, they're not coming out from the Minister of Money. Those ones which were did long time ago, they're the ones which are existing. So far, it is there. County governments can be they can really do something. But at the moment, there's nothing. Because all the time we hear cadastral maps are being aligned. And they're being aligned for very many years. Even up to this moment, nothing has been done so far. In fact, licenses for the new ones, none has been given. In fact, the other day, yesterday, it was, desertification and the drought day. And fortunately, I had 3 cabinet secretaries who came to my county. And when they came, I was talking to them, and the NEMA was part and parcel of it. My own people over there, when they're doing in NEMA, communities, they're complaining. NEMA does not give them certificates to move on. So those ones, they don't, in fact, reach even the county government for the communities. They are stopped at some level. But the ones which actually, they are there before, they're the ones which are still existing.
Senator Chirage, what was the intervention?
Chair, I've been on this thing on mining for long. The reading of Mining Act of 2015 and mining regulations of 2016, the counties have little role. And I think we need to amend. And the Mining Act, when you have a mining permit, you are not supposed to have community development agreements, only mining license. And those powers are only exercised by the Minister of Mining. And therefore, I think even in the local content, in terms of 70, 20, and 10, the counties are always left at the mercy. They don't get that. The 70 went to national, but when it comes to 2010, they don't get it, and even to counties. So I think, Governor, what you should be proposing is the review of the law to give you power to issue mining licenses, because I know, like Nandi, Taita, Taveta are largely part of former Eastern Province and Coast, and also in Migori in your Nyanza region. I think, Chair, on this matter of mining, we'll never get through until we do an inquiry to a number of counties. And therefore, since looking at the issues that I wish the governor would be listening, because I'm defending you for the first time. I've never defended a governor.
No, it's not for the first time. Yes, I was listening to during the debate in the plenary on this affirmative action for counties who are getting less than 6 billion, the 11 counties.
They only listen to us when you're talking about money. It's the only time they listen to us.
So, Chair, what I'm proposing, because if you were to ask me on these 2 issues that have been raised for auditor, we might take the whole day. What I'm proposing, because I know the dynamics of mining, the challenges, why don't we isolate the counties that have similar problems like Migori, Nandi, Taita, then open an inquiry into all this, and even invite the minister, so that we ask the rationale and reasoning behind that the issue of mining license and mining permit should and must be retained, because the formation of county development agreements, the law gives you power to nominate of individuals, but it is the CS who gazettes them as per the regulation. So why don't we open an inquiry detailed? Because, Chair, this is a multi-billion dollar enterprise called mining. For some of us who are in mining sector, up to Tanzania, I can tell you is one of the biggest multi-billion dollar enterprise. That if you today you were to do an inquiry, you will be shocked with how people are making billions of dollars. Yet the governor cannot get even 1 shilling or even 51 million that goes. And Nandi, we were getting like 30 billion. But for example, in Nandi, as I conclude, in Kerebe Gold Mine, the turnover within 3 to 4 financial years was $2 billion US. 200 million US dollars. That is a turnover of 2 billion. And they were paying KRA 200 million, but they are not giving the county anything. Even the local development committees that are at the lowest level, even to build a small dispensary for the local community. So, Chair, let us do an inquiry on this matter, isolate the counties. I want to tell the committee, the moment you open inquiry and inquest into this matter, you'll be shocked at how people are using the law to fleece the county governments. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Senator Gatai?
I think, Chair, I want to ride on what Senator Taita just alluded to. You know, money, Chair, is a very lucrative business. And I think quite a number of interests have been invested in the ministry, because I think there is a very serious cartel surrounding the mining. That's why it has been very deliberate for the national government to retain that exercise at the national level. So I think it is upon us as a Senate to make some registration on how we are supposed now to safeguard the interests of counties, because they are the custodians, they are the owners of these sites and so forth. So I think we must make it very clear, ourselves very clear on that matter. Because even the Rakaditi, we have those mining deposits that have been exploited from the national and non-local. Actually, even the surrounding area, the people are very poor. The schools are very dilapidated.
Yes.
So I think it's something that we're supposed to have a conversation as a Senate, as a House.
Yeah, we also had some recommendations which we did there with the Chief Finance Officer, Lands and Mining. The one you wanted to read, maybe you can give us time, he reads them. Just only 1 minute.
No, what we could do, for purposes of time and maybe for conscious of other health related issues, because I want us to finalize this quickly, we go with the recommendation of Senator Cherargei so that we have a proper inquest into this matter. Because this is the only way we can unlock money for you. That money that was in the schedule, the 50-something million, it should have come to you. It was paid to the government decided to use it.
Maybe through Chair also, there is this thing, some counties, like in our county, over 62% of our land is with the national park. But the law is being used in, like, for example, you go to Narok, they are getting their money reserve. Amboseli was, but our county 62%, and we actually, President gave a directive to the relevant departments so that we can get something out of 50-50. But it has been kept quiet. The presidential directive was given early last year, but up to now, nothing is happening. I wish as Senate, maybe you can assist us by intervening on the same.
Do you think we can do an inquiry on mining as well as natural resources, benefit sharing from mining and natural resources from the revenue perspective? No, we are doing it from a revenue perspective because, you see,
we are doing the revenue perspective.
It is here on the report of the Auditor General, so it gives us an entry point.
Because, Chair, I sit in ICT and we were doing based on the automation. So it means we can do as a Public Accounts Committee, because in ICT we were just doing based on whether yes, automation. But on this one, we can say natural resources, because mining and also wildlife and other, because benefit sharing we can do jointly, including even following up it with Narok, because Narok and Kajiado, the transition that there was a directive given by government is yet to benefit, for example, the running and revenue of, and you remember the scandal of Moja in Masai Mara National Park. And now you have heard the governor 62% is under national park, so they should be getting something to boost their own source of revenue so that they don't come and beg during the revenue formula.
And they don't have to take money from other counties to
come and boost Taita. If they are given a share of what is happening in national parks, their own source revenue will quietly improve.
Very big.
Yeah.
Senator Maruma.
But the president is your president. You should take advantage also whenever he comes.
No, he had promised us, but he has not been able to make sure that his edict is fulfilled. But for us who are here, I've approached the legal department of the Senate, and we wanted to see how then we can leverage on Section 37 of Wildlife Management Act, which says then national parks can be downgraded to national reserve, what are they called? Game reserves, yeah. But they are saying that it has to emanate from the county. The same way, if you want a town to be given city status, that proposal has to come from the county, then you escalate it to the Senate, and a motion is done and passed, then that town is given city status. So the same way, if you want our SAVO, or to get part of the SAVO, the county government can start that motion, maybe through the executive, passing a cabinet memo, they go to the assembly, that motion is passed, then they give that communication to the Senate, and we do a motion on the same, and if it is passed, then we can start pushing for the implementation of that motion. That can suffice. But Chair, there's this query here, which I'm interested in, 3.2.
Yes.
Which is talking about revealing of mining records that showed the quantities of minerals generated and revenues paid to the government. Governor, why didn't you reveal these records? Yet I know the county government is getting some money. Previously, in terms of cess from transportation of iron ore and quartz, the auditors are saying you didn't reveal if you're getting anything. Yet I know revenue from minerals form part of our revenue streams. Unless you're saying now we're not having revenue streams from minerals. The auditor is making a finding that we are not having any revelation. And at one point we used to have a way bridge for iron ore that is being transported. Do we still have that way bridge?
Okay, address those very specific matters. The policy issues will discuss at a later inquest. Disclosure and the way bridge.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Again, if we go to the mining regulations and also the Mining Act 2016, it gives the Cabinet Secretary to reveal this information, not responsibility of the county government.
Weighbridge?
Sorry?
The second question on the weighbridge?
Yeah, I'm talking about the cess. Are you still getting cess from transportation of quartz and iron ore? Because the auditor is making a finding that you did not reveal what you're getting.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Of course, the mining department in the county has been collecting some revenue in that aspect. That is collecting from those people who are transporting, the miners who are transporting these materials to respective areas where they're taking it. And of course, we'll ensure that we kind of line to the law, that is so that we can improve our source revenue in that aspect.
That is futuristic.
Yes,
what
sir.
is saying, you did not disclose. What your senator is asking, we want to know who is eating that money. Because you didn't disclose.
Maybe through Chair, our Honorable Senator, maybe I submit the question, the person who is to be the revenue director is Nganga. Maybe he can tell us exactly what is to happen there.
Thank you, Chair. On revenue, on mining, financial year 2023-2024, Samduda had closed and we were not getting any revenue from mining.
There was nothing at all?
Yeah, there was
even
nothing.
from CES?
No, there was nothing. Because he was not operating.
He's operating now?
He has not received a license.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lastly, Chair, for me, Governor, we have to be very careful because previously we used to follow up our revenues on the iron ore, so that when one ship is being exported, it used to carry 58,000 tons, and so we'd work backwards and know the revenue that is owed to our county by the Treasury. But this time there is value addition within the country of iron ore. It means then we have to be vigilant to make sure that whatever iron ore is leaving the mining sites is measured so that we can also calculate our revenues that we expect from whatever is sold. Same for quartz. Quartz is used within the country to make glass. We must have a way of measuring it to ensure that whatever revenues we get can be comparable to what is given to us by the national government.
Senator, you mean that so iron ore used to be exported, but now it is being processed
There's a
locally?
plant that is being built in Taveta.
Is that the DEFCI plant? Or
Yes, the DEFCI plant.
Okay.
And even the exportation, the excise duty is so high, just to make sure that, to bar the exportation of iron ore, to make sure that is used within the country.
And yet, not even a shilling trickles back to the county of Taita Taveta.
Still under construction, they've not started operating, but it's something which I've noticed.
No, Governor, leave alone the process, the smelting operation. But already people are getting iron ore from the earth, from Taita Taveta.
At the moment, not yet, because they are waiting for the storage facilities for the iron ore by the DEVIC. Once they finalize, it's immediately they will start.
There is nobody doing it even for export at the moment?
No, at the moment, okay.
Nobody is doing it now.
At the moment, there's nobody. In fact, as we are talking today, Kishushu also used to have a lot of problems. In fact, it's tomorrow where different factions have been complaining to each other. I think they are settling tomorrow. And then after they settle down, maybe David can start now maybe taking from them.
So, sorry, the 161 mining sites in the 4 sub-counties, your officer said that there was absolutely nothing that came from that revenue stream. And yet you have 161 mining sites. Are they active?
Apart from what our senator has just said on CES, we did never get anything.
And do you have CDAC, Community Development Agreement committees for the other big mining sites? Because I think we had for some rural resources. What about the one in Matati? What about the one in Kasigau? Do you have them in place?
Yeah, through Chair, our Honorable Senator, yeah, we have them. We have about 5 of them, development committees for mining, we have them.
Senator Chirag.
When was it gazetted? Can you provide evidence of those CDS because they are normally gazetted? And as a county under the Mining Act, did you give out the names that were put in the gazette notice?
The gazettement takes place from the ministry.
So,
but this one,
gazetted?
I think they gazetted because it's something when I was a member of parliament. It's almost maybe 2020, 2021 when they requested those names from the ministry.
But Governor is critical because the cost benefit sharing is that 10% goes to those CDS in those villages and it assists them. The law provides that they do for upgrade of hospitals and other social functions. So I thought it is in your interest to know whether they are gazetted or not.
No, Honorable Senator, it is true, but you see, in our area, Taita Taveta, we just only have this industrial mining is the one for Devik, but these other ones are for the gemstones. And you know, gemstones, most of the licenses are not yet covered.
No, I agree, Chair. You are not getting what your senator said under the mining rules. And I don't know whether you came, I heard you have a legal counsel, or was it a county attorney? He should be better. So is he sleeping on the job? Because the mining rules are very clear that all CDS must be gazetted. And I'm asking as the governor through the chair, are you aware of gazettement of these CDS? Because it is critical that they'll get the 10% to spur the growth of social basic amenities at the lowest level. Because you have told your senator there are 5. So I want to confirm there are 5. They must be gazetted. Are you aware whether they are gazetted or not?
Okay, maybe, Honorable Senator, what I know, there's one, if you remember Bridges, who used to deal with sovereignty. That is the only one which had a problem, and had to know because they had included members which were not coming from Taita Taveta
But
county.
they were gazetted.
So that was the only one which had issues.
Then, Chair, I think what is coming out is out of the 5, 1 is only gazetted, and the legal counsel should have guided you based on this. How long has your legal counsel been in office?
I was elected the Honorable Senator.
Since you are elected?
Yes.
There's something, Governor, you've said which I want just to follow through. You've said that you already almost know who is going to get the mining license for the iron ore. And you mentioned the DevKey. You know, that's dangerous because if he gets the mining license and is the one that is doing the smelting, then what happens to the smallholder mining people who want to mine? Will he buy from them? So he'll just buy from his smelt his own. What type of agreements would you have to ensure that as he mines and does value addition, also the smallholder miners are able to sell to him at high enough prices?
Through Chair, Honorable Senator, I think he misunderstood me. Tomorrow, I've said there are 3 committees. There is one which was led by Shete, there's one which was led by Kidai, and then there's one which was led by Matila. And all of them, they've been complaining. But according to the Ministry of Cooperative, you know, Kidai, he was the one who was actually looking to be. But some of these other groups, they went to court. So after tomorrow, when they sit down, is when now we can be able to know who is going to be given the license for the mining. But at the moment, we don't know who is going to be given the license. After the 3 groups sit together, and which the executive member for agriculture who is here, is going to the one to look for that 3 groups meeting tomorrow, so that they can at least understand each other.
Fine. Senior counsel, maybe as when a function has not been clearly assigned to any of the levels of government, what is usually the assumption? Because in the US, the argument has always been that the federal government does what is assigned to it, and anything that is not assigned to the federal government goes to the states. What is the jurisprudence here? Because I'm looking for mining in the 4th schedule. It is not there. So what would be the interpretation?
Mining is not devolved. It's a national government function.
Where is it? I mean, it ought to be listed in the schedule. Mm-hmm. The national government will say it is theirs because the money is there. Mm-hmm. But show me in the schedule where we have specifically said mining is a function of the national government.
Or natural resources.
Sorry?
Thank you, Chair. If you go to the Constitution of Kenya, of course, the 4th schedule,
yes.
Go to part 1, paragraph 22. Yes.
Protection of the environment and natural resources with a view to establishing a durable and sustainable system of development, including, is that the one you're referring to?
I think that is the part whereby...
including in particular fishing, and remember fishery is for county, fishing is for national, hunting and gathering, protection of animals and wildlife, water protection, securing sufficient residual water, hydraulic engineering and the safety of dams, and energy policy. So where does mining sit in any of those subsections?
I think if I have to interpret it clearly, it sits under issues to do with the environment. But they have not mentioned specifically.
Mining is an economic activity.
Yeah.
It's not just about environmental protection. It's a good conversation to have.
I think now that it's missing, I'm just thinking loud. Now that it is missing, and it's a trade, is it not a trade? Mining is a trade. And the trading licenses are under county governments. Maybe we should be innovative and sneak something there. Because now that it's not clearly provided, we assume it's excluded from national government, and we push it to counties for trade licenses. I think we have been talking about licenses missing here. Yeah? Why can't we amend the law and take licensing to the counties? Anybody dissatisfied can go to court.
So that could be part of the recommendations out of an inquiry.
Yeah, we make the recommendation and amend the law and make it under the county governments. Because they get licenses, we assume those licenses are for trading. Yeah? And yes, that's the best thing we should do.
Let's call different players. Let's look at different jurisdictions. For certain in the US, the battle between federal and states is that the federal government only does that which it is assigned.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that is not assigned to it is assumed to be a responsibility of the states.
Now, in this one, we should say trading and the licensing is assigned to the counties. So we're just trying to say, if you are coming to do trading in our, if you are coming to do any trade in our county, you should get a license from the county government. Yeah, that should, anybody challenging the constitution, Governor Mwadime and others can look for good lawyers.
It's a function of the national government.
Where is it defined?
Article 186, sub-article 3.
186?
186. Sub-article
186, 3.
Yes.
Or on that, in the US, it's the opposite.
Yes, a function which has not been assigned to any government, it is assumed to be a function of the national government. It reads that a function or power not assigned by this constitution or national legislation to a county is a function or power of the national government.
But we can use the national legislation. Because it says a function or power not assigned by this constitution or national legislation to a county is a function or power of the national government. So we can use the national legislation.
Yeah, it's just
so that will form basis of our recommendations upon completion of inquiry.
You know, we would do counties such a big favor, especially because Senator, doesn't Samburu have minerals? I believe Samburu has plenty of minerals. If we can deal with this matter and bring it and make it a national conversation.
Malcolm.
Yes, Malcolm.
Chair, perhaps I would bring the attention of the committee to Article 62(1), which reads that public land is all 1F.
Sorry, which one are you reading?
Article 62. Public land is all 1F. Public land is all minerals and mineral oils as defined in law, as read together with Article 62(2). Public land shall vest in and be held by a county government in trust for the people resident in the county and shall be administered on their behalf by the National Land Commission if it is classified under Clause 1A, C, D, or E, or 1B, or other land held or used or occupied by a national state organ.
So, Malcolm, what you're saying is that minerals and mineral oils are defined as public land, which vest in and are held by a county government.
Actually, they don't, by dint of 62(2), they don't actually vest in county government because as it's, the rider is that if it is classified under 1A, C, D, or E, and 1B, so it doesn't vest in county government.
We can have these clever conversations in a formal inquiry.
And Chair, remember West Pokot is crisis. I think a number of mines have collapsed, where the people are now mining on their own.
And when they collapse, it is a governor who is expected to come to sort out the problems. Right. I've seen it in Migori and several other places.
Artisanal mining in West Pokot, and people are now what we call gold rush, not gold diggers, but gold rush. They are now going to those. So there is a crisis that we must take a lead, because now Article, is it 186, 3 and 4? And now Article 62, so that we provide clarity on, because according to me and senior counsel, economic activity is a trade. Mining is an economic activity and should fall under the purview of a trade because it's an economic activity. Even when you go to Tanzania, it is based on an economic trade or an activity. You go to Congo, You know, these countries that have minerals, I've seen Mali also are setting up a factory. So when you see the definition on how they are in the international fora, and when I attended a meeting on mining in Ethiopia, in Addis Ababa, where they engage based on as a trade, an economic activity. They don't engage as an issue of environmental. So it means in economic activity.
And just taking from what your line of thought, Governor, does it mean the people who come to buy green garnet don't have any permit, any business permit? Because they are doing a business permit. They are doing business. Somebody selling green garnet, selling savorite. You know, if you are selling mandazi, there's a business permit by the county government. Don't we have any permits, business permit, trading license for the mineral, for the minerals?
No, there's a license, but it comes from the...
It comes from...
Well, that is mining license.
No, there's
what
also,
about the trading?
There's also trading license from the ministry.
No. They open a shop. Let me just give a perspective.
No, I'm talking as a miner. I personally am a miner. That license for
you mine minerals.
Yes, from
you know you can mine many things anyway.
No, I mean minerals. I'm a miner. I'm a miner of many years.
You find people selling savorite.
Yes, savorite.
You go to Voi, you find people selling savorite. Why can't you insist that they have licenses? Trading licenses as part of revenue,
because
Mandazi,
Senator Maruma, if today I open a Tanzanite shop or granite shop somewhere in Taita, Taveta, in Voi, then the fact that I operate a small shop to sell, does it mean the county does not need to give me trading license? The fact that I have mining license.
No, that one we do.
It will be a single business permit.
Yes.
Just a single business permit.
That one is exactly. But you see, there's a special mining license also alongside that one we charge.
But there is one that you issue at
the county.
Okay.
Yeah, we cannot just allow you to start business without. But most of the people who sell these minerals, you know,
let us finish the.
They are briefcase, briefcase business.
Remember, Governor, you were saying that other than getting the mining license, the function of giving trading license is vested in the counties.
Yes.
Huh?
No, in the personally.
No, do you give any trading license to people?
We do, but those ones we give after somebody has mined everything. Land he wants now to open, let's say, a mining shop within our count.
Let's do the inquiry.
Even vending. Like if you're selling mandazi without a shop, so you're also told, please bring something.
Yeah, that's what we do. For those who do that, they have business, we do give the licenses in the county. But they are most of the business through briefcase. And those who have briefcase, they have licenses from the ministry.
Let us do an inquiry.
I think it's important for us to do this formally in a structured way.
CC Lands wanted to volunteer some information.
CC Lands?
Okay, to add on what the governor has said, we produce single business permit for the miners in the category if you're doing a large-scale mining, small-scale mining, and artisanal miners. So that one we produce if they come with the mining license.
So what do you define large-scale, small-scale? Is it by turnover or by what's the definition?
Okay, the Act defines maybe the area, the type of mineral, and the materials that the equipments that you're using to mine. Maybe if it's large scale, how many excavator, small scale, how many maybe.
See, let me assist you. The law provides for the mining permit and mining license. So when it comes to mining permit, there are those artisanal mining. But when it comes to license, is a large scale mining that has been provided by the law. I think that is the difference.
Kibet, so roughly, how much do they pay?
Okay, for the large scale mining is 500,000, for the small scale is 35,000, and for the artisanal is 25,000 per year, renewable.
Payable to the county government?
Yes.
OAG, you will, because we might not have time to go into the details of the receipt of revenue, but as we had discussed earlier during our briefing, or any issue that we will not have addressed today, you'll carry them forward to the next audit cycle. And you can also try to do that analysis and confirm that that revenue is coming. Now, to the clerks, we have said this over and over again. Please do a concept note to guide us in that inquiry, so that during that quiet period when counties and the auditors are on the ground doing the audits, we can do an inquiry on that particular subject. If we needed justification, the justification is here. It came from the Auditor General's report in the county of Taita Taveta.
Through Chair, this is something important maybe you have forgotten. Maybe you can also be compelling the national government to be paying the land rates. You know, the other day I was suggesting like our county in Taita Taveta National Park, because we're not getting anything. If we get the land rate of that area, it should give us good money, something like that.
So yeah, we can find a way of crafting it around optimization of revenue for county governments.
But Chairman, before we do that, do you have correspondences between the county government and the national government where they are requesting for that payment or compelling the national government to pay? Because that would be a good starting point, so that if you raise a statement or a petition in the Senate to invite the CS Treasury, then we'll be having some evidence that somebody, the county government of Taita Taveta, has requested for their due, what is due to them, but the national government is not paying. That would be a good, very good starting point.
Is there any documentation?
You just have only the documentation of 50-50. This one we have noted it, and we are going to implement it very soon.
Okay, okay. Honorable members, there is one matter that I need very, very quick responses on from the county government: incomplete, stalled, and abandoned projects. Let's go to that audit observation. Governor, this one will go very quickly. There was a rice milling plant which was incomplete. The rice milling machine was installed, and yet doors had not been installed on the plant. Quite absurd that you'd put in a machine in a facility without doors. Safety of the machine could therefore not be guaranteed, and definitely for an expenditure of 24.6 million, there is no value for money. Is this rice milling plant complete and in use? Governor.
The county government has an established monitoring and information unit in place. And the executive member for public works, I think he can expound more on this.
Governor, I thought you'd start by telling us that the door has been installed.
That the door has been fixed, then we end there.
No, Chair, there are so many things which are ongoing there because also
No. Let's go to specific. You know, if you spend 24 million on a rice milling plant, and then machines are installed and doors are not there, you don't need to set up a committee. You don't need a committee.
No. Chair, actually the door was fixed, but there are some also other components which are supposed to be done, and the executive member for public works knows exactly what it is.
So is it complete or it's work in progress?
It is not yet complete, but the doors were fixed. But there are some other things, maybe public.
Can you very quickly, this meeting was supposed to end at 2, it's past 2. Can you very quickly give us the status so that we decide whether we direct the Auditor General to look at it in the current year?
Maybe before he gives us the status, OAG, are the doors fixed? Have you seen these doors?
Chair, since these projects, at the time of the audit, they were not complete as indicated, and now management has indicated that there are changes. Since our teams are already in Taita Taveta, they will verify and confirm.
Bwana Obara, you queried a door. We want just to find out, let us begin from the basic as chairs. Has the door been fixed as OAG, or you are not aware?
Yeah, again, like I've just said, seeing a door requires physical verification.
So you haven't visited?
Yes.
Okay, and then Chair.
Yeah, I think the OAG had clarified earlier that they, first of all, they would have wanted to follow this up, but it was important for us to get an interim status.
Okay.
Who wants to explain this?
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. The door has actually been fixed, but the project is not yet completed, so it is still ongoing at the final stages.
So, Auditor General, as you had agreed, this is a matter that you can keep in view and report substantively in 2024-2025. Secondly was the installation of a pump and a tank at Langata Borehole. The project is abandoned, not connected to electricity, and borehole water is not accessible to the intended users. And I have heard stories that you're asking people to pay for electricity. What is the status of this? Langata Borehole. Pump and the tank at Langata Borehole.
Thank you, Chair. The pump was installed, electricity was connected, and at the moment, Langata people are drinking water. Thank you, Chair.
It's complete?
Yes, Chair.
Now, again, the auditor didn't visit, so it might not be. So keep it in view again, OAG, do your physical verification. We go to Senator Maru.
Yeah, what the auditor would need the auditor to confirm is if that water has been supplied to the residents. Because what I heard, there are people who are complaining that they are being asked to pay money so that the water can be connected to their houses. So let us know if auditor, that water has reached the last mile where it's supposed to be used.
OAG, you'll be able to give us that assurance when you do your site visit?
Yes, Chair, we undertake to do that.
Okay. We come to Moi Stadium, playing ground in Voi. Construction of retaining wall, security rooms, gates, and 2 stalls at Moi Stadium in Voi. Governor, is this project complete?
It's incomplete, but our executive member can explain us the details of the same.
Is the gate
for public works?
Where is the member? Very specific, is the gate done? The gate was not done at the time of audit?
It is not yet done.
The retaining wall was partially done. Is it complete?
Not yet complete.
The stalls, ticket booths, and security rooms were not complete?
They're still in the same state.
So why on earth did you pay retention when all these things are incomplete?
Chair and honorable members, the project was being handled in phases, and the retention was in relation to the first phase that had been completed, but then after completion, the project was not allocated additional budget.
What was that first phase?
The first phase was the substructure works and civil works.
At what point is retention paid? Is it on certificate by certificate basis, or it is upon completion and confirmation that there are no defects and liabilities?
It is upon completion and confirmation that there are no liabilities, and that phase of the project that had been completed, it stayed for more than a year, which was more than the 6 months defect liability period allowed in the contract. So the contractor was paid for that phase that had shown no defects.
Auditor General, was that explanation provided to you?
Chair, that explanation was not provided at the time, but if that is the status, then as we confirm progress, we will indeed ask for contract document for that phase 1 and go through it and establish whether the payment was proper.
So the 10.1 million was with respect to contract number 766723 2019-2020.
Yes.
And that contract was to do these things that are incomplete.
No, Chair.
So you are saying the contract number plus the description of work to be done are not tying?
They're not tying, yes.
Did you raise that with the Auditor General?
Yes, we did.
And how come this report was not modified? Because what I'm getting is that 10 million was paid for things that are not complete but retention has been released.
Maybe the Auditor General can state why maybe they're not yet convinced.
No. It is not for the Auditor General. It is for you to demonstrate. And you ought to demonstrate through documentation. It's just that we are in a rush to conclude. But I would ask you to take us to your annexures and show us where that contract is, where the terms are, to confirm that the 1 million paid as retention was done lawfully.
And maybe just to ride on your question, Chair, what was the 10 million for? What was it meant to do? Was it meant to do the gate, the retailing wall, the stalls, and are they complete? Or we are talking about 10 million that has been paid for works not done, which would be a pointer to possible loss of money.
Let me just confirm with the appendix 11.
Members, if the auditor has not verified whatever the county is offering, then we'll just be engaged in exchanges that will not be useful. Our position remains. We agree with the Auditor General that retention ought not to have been paid. It is a responsibility of the county government to dispute that. And Auditor, we can keep this in view and then scrutinize the contract, that phase 1 that is referring to, and give us that assurance. If you maintain your position, then we will recommend criminal action against the officers involved, because this would be outrightly illegal. Okay?
Noted, Chair.
Honorable members, we have...
Just maybe the last two, Chair, they are very brief because it's an issue of connecting electricity and residents drinking water. Ngelenyi and Kwa Hebron, the last two.
Ngelenyi water project? Stalled, not connected to electricity. So the borehole water not accessible to the intended users.
Thank you, Chair. That project was done, and it is right now being, at that moment, there was no funding for electricity connection, but we now set aside funds to connect electricity to the Ngelenyi water project.
Which financial year?
24-25.
Supplementary budget?
Under the FLOCA program, yeah, 24-25. This financial year, yeah.
But I thought FLOCA allows you even to solarize. Why are we talking of electricity and grid and its inefficiencies and not solar for boreholes?
Yeah, we want also to solarize, but Ngelenyi is in the highlands where there's a lot of cloud cover, and solarization is becoming a problem there in the highlands.
Solar works, one of the most densely covered countries when it comes to solar is in the Scandinavian world, with worse climatic conditions than what you have. I think, Governor, a number of these things, you are saying that there is no electricity connection to a borehole, go for solar. Because it would be, pulling, I think it was Samburu, or there's a county we dealt with, Nyandarua, where the county is paying for installation of transformers. Because they've done a project somewhere in the hinterland, there is no electricity, so they have to pay for a transformer. And with KPLC, if you want a 3-phase set up in your premise, how much is it? Isn't it above $1 million? It's almost 1.5.
3 million, Chair.
It's actually 3 million. So if you went for solar as an alternative, I think you get better value for money at half the price. Yeah. Kwa Hebron Water Project?
Thank you, Chair. For Hebron Water Project, there was some vandalism in the pipelines. That was repaired, and now the residents are getting water. Thank you, Chair.
So, honourable members, I wanted to propose that we have not dealt with every single audit query in this report, but we had already agreed and discussed with the OAG that whatever remains outstanding will be carried as prior year matters in the 2024-2025 audit report. But there are few areas where we have directed the county to provide documentation. You will advise us on whether that documentation has been provided to enable us make appropriate recommendations. On the receipt of revenue, we had also discussed with the OAG that we need to have a section that queries the systems environment, because the ROR report has not told us whether you have automated your systems, and we are not going to take your oral, we are not going to take stories. We want to have a proper report from the OAG on the state of systems, the effectiveness, and whether your streams are all automated, and whether you are optimizing technology in collection of on-source revenue. So unless I think the other thing that we had marked for discussion, but we'll defer to the next audit cycle, is the issue of land ownership documents. I remember there was a time when we had a lengthy conversation about some land where the Catholic Church also had an interest. I think it is a matter that went to court. So the issue of land adjudication, land ownership documents and titling, I think is still a problem in Taita Taveta County as a whole. So there's an audit observation there. We'll allow the Auditor General to update us whether the matter has been not really closed, but whether progress has been made, because it's something that requires progressive implementation. Any other business, honourable members? Do we allow the Governor to make his closing remarks? Probably, first of all, just to ask from the Auditor General, is a county cooperative? Does the Governor show up for your entry and exit meetings?
Chairman, thank you very much. I think Taita Taveta is one of the counties where we have the highest attendance from CECs and CEOs and top management. But we are humbly requesting the Governor to be in attendance during entries and exits, and also to engage us when we are coming to Senate. Thank you.
Governor, it's important because you are the one who takes the oath. You are the one who is on the firing line when you come here. So it's important to be familiar with the contents of their report and their processes. It will help you prepare better for this engagement.
Obliged, Chair. Obliged, and I'll be availing myself. And Chair, okay, as per this report, they have seen, actually, most of the issues I've seen is on documentation. We'll try all our best to be dealing with the relevant officers who do not avail of reports to, or rather say documents to the auditors accordingly.
Yeah, and Governor, when we say administrative action should be taken, firing is the nuclear option. It's the last option. Administrative action means you can do a reprimand, or you can do training, or you can do a transfer, and then at the extreme you can do a demotion, and the most extreme you can do an exit, but it must be in line with the law. Remember that Senate cannot direct that you fire an employee. Firing is County Public Service Board, County Governments Act, all those procedures must be complied with. So in terms of administrative action, I think there are a lot of areas where you need capacity development, training of your officers, because the numbers that have been queried here, some of them are very small amounts. You saw like that thing of breakdown services, 300,000. We should not have spent the time that we spent on it. So I think focus more on building capacity, but if it becomes impossible, then you can go to the other sanctions like transfers, demotions, and exits. Is there anything else you want to say in closing?
Last debate, which never ended on this affirmative action, I'm just requesting that senators kindly try to see for these counties who are actually getting 6 billion and below. Because some counties like Taita, Taveta, when we started the 2010, we believe that counties which never got any development after independence, they get development.
Just to inform you, the debate ended, we voted, and the affirmative fund will be there. That business
I really
was
thank
concluded.
Senate. I really thank you. And also the idea which you had about the 465 million to the counties. I really thank Senate for the good job which you did. I personally, I was watching TV throughout and I was really pleased, even the debate, the way it went on. But you can go further for counties like Taita Taveta. You know what is what's happening right now in Taita Taveta? Because no industry was done before 19. Water, it's a water surplus account, but all the water goes to other accounts. We don't have enough water. And the money we are receiving is too little. I'm just requesting also Senate to consider counties like us, because over 70% of the wildlife human conflict is in Taita Taveta. When we talk about this 2% is over there. What is remaining to us in Taita Taveta now? We're just seeing people coming, getting married to a very beautiful girls, and then the short ones, we left them to us. So we are requesting if you can do something.
Who said short girls are not beautiful?
Those who are quarrelsome. I'm just saying, because
that must be struck out of the
point of order.
Point of order.
No, Senator Dulo, you are tall, so you are not being referred to.
No, you can
okay, I apologize. On record, I've withdrawn and apologize.
Kiswahili, maybe when he uses Kiswahili, the point would be home.
Now, Governor, can you conclude safely?
I thank Senate for supporting devolution. For sure, you are doing good job. Our Senator, thank you. You have shown good maturity. But I'm not campaigning for you. But there's big maturity you have shown in this. In fact, sometimes if you have anything, just come to me, advise me. Me, I'm a listener, and will always do. And I'll go back to you and tell you we have implemented this, we have not implemented this because of this and that and that. But I really thank for the points which you have been giving in here. Some of them are very educative, because I believe education is a continuous process and nobody has a monopoly of ideas. Thank you very much.
I've been around for long. I rarely get governors speak so well of their senators. But Senator Maruma, be very careful when your governor praises you. They might think you are lying in the same bed for slaughter. Senator Sifuna.
Chair, in fact, for the duration of time that I've been on this committee, I've never had any governor thanking the Senate. I am at a loss, I might have to discuss a tall Taita girl for me.
But my former chair, when you do good job, everybody has to give you good things.
I'm commending you, Governor, because honestly speaking, sometimes we feel very frustrated as a Senate that the Council of Governors does not put in commensurate effort when it comes to support for devolution, and we feel like maybe we are crying more than the bereaved. Governor, I wanted to know, there was this pronouncement by the head of state that you will be getting revenue from the park. Is it happening? I might have missed it, Chair, when we were out.
Yeah, we had discussed it, but just respond to it very briefly. Don't go into the...
We have not yet started receiving, but they gave us, they actually gave a presidential directive, sometimes early last year, but the relevant departments up to this very moment, they have not implemented. I've been trying to follow it up.
To summarize what the governor said earlier, imetengwa na imepangwa.
I know just how you mean, Chair. I have no further questions, but to wish the governor all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members, do we donate our time to Senator Maruma?
Yes.
Please.
Thank you, Chair, for this opportunity to engage the county government of Taita Taveta. And I just want to dwell on the issue of basis for revenue sharing and thank our partners in the Senate who are agreeable to us to take money from Nandi and bring it to Taveta from Nairobi, from Homa Bay, take it to Taveta, take it to Nyamira. The 3 billion affirmative action fund was very important to us because then we got 405 million over and above what we're going to get from the revenue sharing formula. We wanted to ring-fence that money. That 405 million for development expenditure. Don't take it to recurrent expenditure. I think that's the only thing I should say, Mr. Chair.
No, I think that's an extremely important point because Senator Okongo Mogeni, when you convinced us to support the G11, now the G12, it was clear that that money is not going for payment of salaries. And what we saw with Nyandarua, and the governor of Nyandarua confirmed to us, he was the 12th beneficiary, initially there were 11, that they have had a conversation with their senator, and they are trying to agree and define on some projects that can be legacy projects. And I think the two of you could find a framework for that kind of conversation, so that if there's an additional 400, I wouldn't want to hear your senator